Magician Recaps explains here. Today, we are going to explain an action, adventure, and sci-fi movie. The movie starts with a severely injured woman called Vare, with blue blood dripping from her nose. She sees an older lady pointing a gun at someone, but before getting anything, unknown figure emerges from the smoke, and points a weapon at the woman. Suddenly she wakes up, realizing it was just all a dream. She gets up and looks out her window at the city of S.H.I.E.L.D, the capital of Kree civilization, in 1995. Then, she moves to her mentor Yon-Rogg to ask him to train with her, as she can't sleep. As he prepares her fighting skills, he asks her if there's anything new in her dreams, indicating that she has had those dreams before. Annoyed that she's losing the fight, she threatens him with a photon blast out of her fist. He warns her to control it, or she'll have to commune with the Supreme Intelligence. They continue their fight, but she eventually blasts him, prompting them to go to the Supreme Intelligence, the artificial intelligence that rules the Kree Empire. On their way there, Vare asks him what the Supreme Intelligence looks like, and he explains that their subconscious chooses the way it appears to them. In her meeting, Supreme Intelligence takes on the form of the elderly lady from her recurring dreams. It tells her that despite Yon-Rogg's belief that she is ready, it doesn't think so. It reminds her that she's another victim of the Skrull expansion, which has threatened their civilization for centuries. Their longtime enemy, the Skrull, occupies different worlds one by one, and can take any shape. They are a threat to S.H.I.E.L.D, so they must destroy them. The intelligence then allows Vare to join Starforce on a mission. Later on, with the team, which consists of Minerva, Korath, Bronchar, and Atlas, Yon-Rogg gives the Starforce a briefing on to search and rescue mission of an undercover operative named Solar. He informs the team that the Skrulls have captured the planet, Torfa. Yon-Rogg instructs the team to perform an incursion on the world. So Vare and the rest of the Starforce go through underwater, using their suits to reach the surface. Soon, they realize that the Torfa natives are Skrulls, and that the mission was an ambush. The Skrull commander, Talos, disguised as Solar, abducts Vare, and takes her to a Skrull spacecraft while the rest of the Starforce retreats. On the Skrull spacecraft, Talos puts her through a memory probe, which gives him access to her memories from different times in her life. And so far, they've only gotten the location of C-53, also known as Earth, where they're going next. She then awakens just as Talos unlocks her memories, revealing that he wants information from her about a lightspeed engine. She orchestrates an escape by unintentionally making a massive hole in the ship. She gets on an escape pod, which gets shot at by Talos. Eventually, she crashes through the roof of a Blockbuster Video in the middle of a shopping plaza. Then, she tries to contact Starforce Command, but her communications are down. Seeing a security officer, she asks him where she can find communications equipment, which he points at the nearby Radio Shack. The next day, Talos and the Skrulls assume the identity of surfers on a beach in Los Angeles. At the same time, Vare modifies a pay phone to communicate with Starforce Command. After a brief conversation with Yon-Rogg, learning she'll be stranded on Earth for the next 22 hours, she also attracts the attention of S.H.I.E.L.D. after the security officer reports her. Nick Fury and Phil Coulson arrive to question her, dismissing her Kree authority and her claims that the Skrulls have come to Earth. They're interrupted by one of the Skrulls. Vare protects Fury by shoving him into the phone booth, and she chases down the Skrull. She chases the Skrull on a subway train station, and bumps into an older woman. She manages to get on the train, and scans the passengers for anyone suspicious. She got to an older man reading from a Mallrat script, who smiles at her. The Skrull has already changed his appearance, and appears as an older woman. Still, Vare recognizes his disguise as the older woman she bumped. So, she punches him, shocking everyone in the train car. They fight while the passengers try to stop her from beating the defenseless granny. It is funny, right? This makes the Skrull run away? She recovers a crystal containing her extracted memories. However, the Skrull evades her and escapes amid a crowd at a train station. Meanwhile, Fury and Coulson chase after Vare in their vehicle. Fury gets a call from Coulson, saying he's still at the Blockbuster. He realizes that Coulson sitting on the passenger side next to him is a Skrull imposter. The imposter tries to shoot him with a gun, but Fury grabs it and kills him by crashing their car into oncoming traffic. He soon wakes from the crash, and he sustains only minor injuries around his eye, and sees the imposter's body, which now reveals a green alien. He covers it up before calling for backup. Later, Fury takes the Skrull's corpse to a lab, and the examiner performs an autopsy. Their boss, S.H.I.E.L.D. director, Keller, orders Fury to work with Vare, keep tabs on her, and eventually hand her to S.H.I.E.L.D. custody. As he leaves, Keller mourns the loss of the Skrull, revealing that he's Talos in disguise. Later that day, Ver arrives at the Pancho's bar, recollecting memories of her and the familiar woman enjoying their time there. She sees a picture of a fighter pilot with the Pegasus Project logo, so she asks the barkeep for the location of Project Pegasus. Fury appears, telling her that the information is classified. The two question each other to ensure they're not Skrull imposters. She proves it by shooting a photon blast out of her fist, so she asks him to take her to Project Pegasus. On their way there, she tells him that the Skrulls are looking for Dr. Wendy Lawson, as they believe she developed the Lightspeed engine. She must stop them before they become unstoppable. Fury takes her to the Project Pegasus joint NASA and US Air Force facility in Nevada. The security detains them, but he uses his skill on a piece of tape to get them out, and they head to the records room, where Ver blasts the door to unlock it. On their way there, they find a cat named Goose. They discover Lawson's plans for the Lightspeed engine, but the project got terminated. Fury theorizes she's crazy because of her weird writings. Nonetheless, Ver recognizes them as Kree glyphs, realizing she's Kree. Later on, Fury tells her that she's dead, as well as the unnamed pilot. The last person to see them alive was another pilot, Maria Rambeau. Ver recognizes Lawson as the woman murdered in her nightmares. She sees in a picture that she's the fighter pilot presumed dead. Later, she contacts Yon-Rogg, who confirms that Lawson is Kree. He tells her that she was an undercover Kree operative named Mar-Vell. She was experimenting with technology that could help the Kree win the war. Meanwhile, Fury reports their location to Keller, and a group of agents led by Keller arrives, including Coulson. Keller calls him Nicholas, and he soon realizes that Keller is a Skrull imposter and goes rogue with Ver. Keller reveals himself to be Talos, but Ver arrives and blasts him away. They hijack the Quadrant to run, and see that Goose is a stowaway. Motivated to seek answers from Rambeau, they fly to the Rambeau residence in New Orleans, Louisiana. Maria Rambeau and her daughter, Monica, are surprised to see Ver still alive. They tell her that her real name is Carol Danvers, who was once like family to them, and they thought she died with Lawson. Ver explains what happened to her, and what she remembers, while Monica gives her a box of old things. Its contents are primarily pictures of her past self that Ver is trying to remember. She sees a piece of her old dog tags. "What's left of it," says Carol Dan. Suddenly, there's a knock on the door, but it's just the neighbor, who wants to check out the jet Fury and Ver arrived in. Ver insists it's the Skrulls, but Maria tells her neighbor it isn't a good time, and closes the door. Talos appears inside his green skin and negotiates a temporary alliance, while Norix impersonates Maria, distracting Monica outside. Afterward, Talos reveals that he has the black box recording from the plane crash and asks for help decoding some coordinates. He gets scared of Goose, and insists it's not a cat but a flurkin. Hearing the black box recording causes Ver to remember what happened on the flight. A spaceship attacked her and Lawson, making them crash onto a small peninsula. She gets off the jet and helps him get out. However, she notices that Lawson is bleeding blue blood, which prompts him to reveal that her real name is Mar-Vell, and she comes from a planet called Hala. She tries to get up, attempting to destroy the energy core to keep it away from the Kree. Yon-Rogg shoots and kills her. He claims he had uncovered Mar-Vell's deception and alliance with the Skrulls. In an attempt to destroy it, Ver gains cosmic abilities after absorbing the energy from the exploding engine but losing her memory. Yon-Rogg realizes this and decides to bring her with them to Hala. Talos explains that the Kree has deceived her, and the Skrulls are homeless refugees constantly on the run from the Kree, and are on the brink of extinction. The core that Mar-Vell found would have powered a lightspeed ship capable of carrying the Skrulls to safety. Ver reclaims her name as Carol and convinces Maria to be her co-pilot for the journey. Later, she asks Monica to change her uniform colors to blue, red, and yellow, referencing her old US Air Force shirt. Later on, Ver, Fury, Talos, Maria, and Goose take the now modified jet to the Mar-Vell's cloaked laboratory, a Kree Imperial cruiser. Inside, Ver finds the Tesseract, the power source of the energy core, which they place in a lunchbox for safekeeping. Talos makes a weird call, and the remaining refugee Kree comes out of hiding, and he reunites with his wife and daughter. Suddenly, the Starforce ambushes them. Ver confronts Yon-Rogg about his lies, and he activates her implant suppressing her powers. She tries to fight him without it but gets knocked out and placed in stasis to confront the Supreme Intelligence while taking her friends and the remaining Kree as prisoners. They confiscate the lunchbox containing the Tesseract and cage Goose as it's a high threat as a Flurkin. Under the stasis, she tries to break out by fighting the Supreme Intelligence. She resists the Intelligence's power over her. She destroys the Kree implant, allowing her powers to reach her full potential. Then, she knocks out the guards, and her powerful outbursts frees the Skrulls and her friends. She takes the lunchbox and tells Fury to take the Tesseract, but Goose swallows it before he can. Seeing this shocks Fury and Maria, but they finally accept that Goose is a Flurkin. When Maria and Fury make their way to the Quadrant, several Kree soldiers stop them, and Fury tries to make Goose eat them, but he doesn't, so they give up. The Kree soldiers bring them to the hangar, where they will blast off into space, but one of the soldiers tells Fury to play it cool, revealing that it's Talos. Maria shoots down the Kree ship blocking their exit, causing an explosion. Yonrog contacts Minerva to take them down in a drop ship, and she flies off to follow the Quadrant. Yonrog tries to escape on another boat, but Ver grabs onto it and he shoots at her, making her fall. As she struggles mid-fall, she controls her powers and flies off safely. Minerva intercepts the Quadrant to the Mojave Desert. Still, Maria evades her due to her successful flying skills, and she shoots her down. Yonrog arrives and shoots at them, but Ver appears and knocks his ship down. Suddenly, Ronan, the accuser, arrives and orders to deploy ballistic warheads, but Ver stops one of them and throws it back to the other missiles, causing a chain reaction and destroying all the deployed missiles. And he orders his men to take her down. She easily evades and destroys the smaller ships and one of the Kree warships, prompting the squadron to retreat. She lands, and Yonrog challenges her to a duel. Still, she instantly incapacitates him with a photon blast. She sends him back to Hala with a warning for the Supreme Intelligence, declaring that she'll come and end it all. Meanwhile, Goose claws and unintentionally blind his left eye. The Skrulls take temporary shelter at the Rambo residence, where Talos begins to recover from his injuries. Ver says she'll help them find a home and finish what Mar-Vell started. Before she departs Earth with the Skrulls, she tells Fury to keep the Tesseract hidden on Earth. She hands him a modified pager to call her in an emergency. Monica gives her the leather jacket she left for her a while back. Then Ver says goodbye to her and Maria, and leads the ship with the Skrulls. The movie ends a little while later, as Fury drafts the Protector Initiative to locate heroes like Ver. He learns her Air Force call sign is Avenger, and he renames it to the Avengers Initiative in her honor. Later, Goose climbs onto Fury's desk, and spits out the Tesseract. In the mid-credits, Steve Rogers, Natasha Romanoff, Bruce Banner, and James Rhodes watch the pager Fury set up before he leaves. Suddenly, Ver appears before them and demands to know Fury's whereabouts. And there you have it. Subscribe for more videos like this, turn on notifications, and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.